Well, a very good evening and welcome to tonight's edition of Breeding to Win, and we're bringing it to you directly here from Summerhill Stud, where we've just witnessed the Ready to Run Gallops, and what a show put on by CTS and the Ready to Run team here at Summerhill, and we'll be bringing you some of that coverage in a little while from now. But to start off with, we're going to be highlighting on what happens this time of the year normally when CTS send out their inspectors. Now obviously the entry forms for the Book 1 sale, they've been sent out, a record entry received, and we're really looking forward to the reports coming back from the inspectors as they complete their tour around the country. But the Breeding to Win, as I said, team, they were around with the guys, and this is what they've recorded in a great interview from international judge Mark Player. Mark, firstly, fantastic to have you in the Western Cape. I know I've seen you in Johannesburg at one of the sales before, but have you been to Cape Town before?
No, first time to Cape Town, and what an amazing place to come to. It's been a week where every time we've gone around a corner we've seen some new, absolutely beautiful sight, and what a glorious part of the world this really is.
I know you were staying at some of the stud farms and you went on Skype and you were Skyping some of the pictures to your family back home, and they must have been quite impressed.
Yeah, look, I think it was just a real thrill for the kids to think that here I was sleeping in the accommodation above the horses, on a beautiful, beautiful farm, with just so much going for it. I mean, investment, personalities, people, and a wonderful array of stallions, and of course a great broodmare band. These studs in South Africa have really got some very big positives at the moment.
Now, you travel around the world, Mark. You've been to most of the sales. In fact, you were one of the first pioneers from a Hong Kong perspective to come to South Africa, and you bought the first South African horse that was on the international sale in Hong Kong. So you've gone back a long way. Have you seen the South African thoroughbred improve since then?
Look, I was absolutely blown away by the quality of the horses that I was inspecting. I certainly didn't come with anything other than an open mind, because it had been 10 years since I'd bought one almost. But to see the quality at a very early stage in the preparation of these horses, only some of them not even having turned one by their actual birth date rather than their official birth date, to see the quality of the horses, to see the way they're being reared, it really gives great confidence to say these horses, it's no fluke when they go out into the world and compete on the international stages of Hong Kong and so on.
Well, you've been instrumental in bringing a couple of raced horses to Hong Kong as well, because that's your role now in terms of the JJ, the Jet Planes, and probably more recently Variety Club. And they always seem to do well in Hong Kong, don't they?
Look, they do, and I think when you look at where they're being raised and how they're being raised, you really see that when they get out of South Africa, they are true athletes and they are able to compete with the very best around the world, and that's something that possibly doesn't get celebrated enough on a global basis. I'm sure it does here in South Africa, but certainly the message is becoming louder around the world, and that's something that we all should be celebrating, because if we can get good horses from all around the world competing together, it's just a wonderful thing for everyone.
As part of your role with the Hong Kong Jockey Club and international transportation of horses, how do you think the protocol negotiations are going to go going forward?
Look, whenever you're doing protocol negotiations, it has to be government to government as the final step. So it's a walk, not a run, unfortunately. But there is certainly great resolve in Hong Kong to try to make the movement of horses from South Africa to Hong Kong more direct and easier, which is a fantastic step forward. I think certainly through Winfried Engelbert at Bresges, the quality of the South African horse is really being recognised, and he's saying quite openly that he wants the owners in Hong Kong to be able to access these bloodlines. That's a really positive thing, and certainly that he wants to see change, he wants to see support, so he'll certainly drive from the Jockey Club end in Hong Kong, but he'll also then make sure that the Jockey Club tries to drive the government and the negotiations with government from a Hong Kong end. What then needs to happen, of course, is that from this end, there has to be the right ideas and protocols put together. Government here's got to sign off and then get together with the Hong Kong government and make sure those protocols are ratified. So, as I said, it's a walk, not a run, but I think there's light at the end of a tunnel that used to be 12 kilometres long and maybe now is only 5.
Your visit's coming to an end here, and obviously we're going to hope to have you back at some point. Would that be on your agenda now?
Oh, look, certainly. I mean, I think it's been an absolute privilege to come out and inspect the horses for Book 1. The quality, as I said, has been just fantastic. Just to see how these horses are being prepared and seeing how they're being reared, and full credit to the farm. Some of them, the horses had only been brought into the stables 2 or 3 days. Some were inspecting in paddocks, but you can really see the quality coming through, and that's as a result of this industry here in South Africa getting together, investing and really believing in the future. And if I can come back and do this again, I'd certainly jump at the chance, because it has been a privilege. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's a wonderful team, led of course by John Kramer, and John, I think, is probably a doyen of this industry, and somebody that I certainly look up to and respect. And to have had the chance to have a week with him around this beautiful region is something I'll really treasure for very many years to come.
You also had one glimpse of the Landsrack Ready to Run sale, and you saw how CTS go and run in their sales. And what did that leave an impression with?
It certainly left an impression to me that there's an innovative company here who really wants to take racing to not just the established people, but to try to really broaden the base of owners here in South Africa. I think that's a fantastic thing, because if you look at the cost of having a horse in training here in South Africa on a global scale, it's incredibly cheap, and you've got quality horses to do it with. And I think that you've got a sales company here now who really are very determined to try to forge new paths and to forge new barriers. The hospitality they extend to all the buyers, all the vendors, is second to none around the world. So congratulations to them on a fantastic sale and a really good start.
Last question to you. Your driver on the tour got you to try a biltong and got you to try a drive horse. Is that something that you'd be wanting to take back to Australia?
Look, I don't think the quarantine protocols will allow me to, but certainly it was a part of a wonderful experience here in South Africa. And everywhere we went, we were just afforded wonderful hospitality, great food, obviously great wines, but the warmest welcome you could want anywhere in the world.
Bounded away from them.
And very well done to Sean and to Chris. I think they've got a bit of a horse in their hands.
Peregrine on the far inside, but Pomodora. And Pomodora stays on the better one well today.
He is really a nice horse to ride.
Pomodora in the middle's picked it up in the closing stages, and Pomodora has raced away and has won it well.
He just stamped himself as a top 3-year-old in the country.
Smanji and Pomodora, here comes the line, very close, maybe Smanji in a photo.
And I'm excited for Pomodora to get to stud, and I'm excited for him to start producing. It's just a whole new adventure and a whole new start, and believe you me, when Chris and I see them in the ring, we will put our head down.
Well, welcome back, and great to hear such nice comments coming from an international guest like Mark Player. With me now is Adrian Todd, the COO of CTS here at Summerhill. And if you hear a bit of background noise, well, we're in the middle of a good old Midlands thunderstorm. So there is a bit of thunder and lightning about. We're in a thatch building as well, the School of Excellence now. It's quite an interesting sight out there with all the thunder and lightning around.
No, it is, Grant. Very stunning. You know, one of those storms that you see, it's quite enjoyable to watch.
Well, let's go quickly. We just featured the inspection of your Book 1 entries, your Cape Premier sale at the Cape Town Convention Centre. You brought Mark Player out, and he had nothing but positive comments to say.
That's correct, Grant. I spent a bit of time with Mark. We had dinner just before he left, and he was very surprised, pleasantly surprised. He had nothing but good to say about the quality of horses in South Africa and just the farms and the horsemanship in general. And that's beside the fact that he also felt it was one of the most beautiful places he's ever seen in his life.
Well, Adrian, let's just talk about the process going forward as well, because you receive the entries and then obviously you get your inspection panel to go tour and give a grading.
Well, Grant, people put in their entries in the entry forms, and at the moment it was for the Premier sale. The March Yearling sale entry forms are already out, and the Empress Palace Select Yearling sale in Johannesburg, those entry forms will be going out very soon. When the inspectors go around, obviously, as we all know, they judge the horses on conformation, but now with the 3 sales that CTS has for yearlings in their stable, the inspectors also work very closely with the vendors in selecting the best horse for the sale. You know, if they feel that this horse may be better suited at a different sale, maybe something that was supposed to be originally March yearling sale is very often a quality for the Premier sale, and they'll talk with the vendors, work with them to make those adjustments.
Adrian, your inspection team obviously go out. They've done most of the farms now around the country. I think they've just got Port Elizabeth still to do. Have you had any feedback from John Cromer, and how has he rated the crop thus far?
I have had a chat with him. John feels that this is one of the strongest drafts he's ever looked at, and as you well know, he's inspected every draft of the Cape Premier yearling sale since its inception.
Well, Adrian, it's the first time CTS have been involved here at Summerhill with the ready-to-run Gallops. From your perspective, how did things go? And what did you make of the opportunity and the day? And were you happy with the attendance?
I know, we were very happy with it. It was a wonderful turnout. Excellent. You know, where else would you want to spend an afternoon but in the Midlands? It was just a wonderful experience for everybody. I think all of our clients enjoyed it. We had a number of our clients made special effort to get up here from Cape Town, and we're very, very pleased with the way the day worked.
Adrian, it was great to have such dignitaries here as well. Hassan Adams, Brian Finch, Ken True, to just name but a few. How did they enjoy the day, and what feedback did you get back from them?
No, they loved it. From talking to the guys, they all had a wonderful day. They just enjoyed the whole experience. The hospitality shown to them at Hertford House, the way it was set up at the Gallops Day, it just worked very well, Grant.
Thanks very much to Adrian Todd for joining us. He's the COO of Cape Thoroughbred Sales. And as promised, next up, we'll be chatting with Mick Goss here at the School of Excellence. We'll be moving to a different part of the building just to show you a little bit more of this fantastic facility. And we'll be catching up with Mick as to what possibly were the best gallops in his eyes.
Turf Carriers is a family-run business owned by Mark and Dorrie Sham and their 3 sons, Michael, Matthew and Marcus. New Turf Carriers has been in long-distance transport since 1995 and pride themselves in excellent service, punctuality and loyalty to their clients. Every single stud farm and every single sale to every single racecourse, New Turf Carriers pride themselves in delivering your horse safely. The welfare of your horse is paramount, and it is to this end that we have our own midway stop between Johannesburg and Cape Town. This is situated at Colesberg, where we have a stabling facility for 60 horses, so that the horses on long trips can get off and have a rest during their journey. The bottom line is, New Turf Carriers take your horse from door to door with pride, passion and punctuality.
We believe in excellence. We believe that if you're going to do something, you do it to your best ability. We aim to make Balmoral #1 in the Southern Hemisphere, not just South Africa.
Welcome back, and great that I've got the opportunity to move to a different room here at the School of Excellence, and I'm now joined by Mick Goss as well. Mick, firstly, thanks very much for letting us use this facility to do the show.
Well, don't be silly. It's a wonderful advert for us to have you guys here, so it's a privilege to have you with us.
Tell us a bit about this, because I haven't been here before, and obviously you've got the auditorium where we started off. We're now in the lounge foyer area here, and then you've obviously got the dining room next door where you're going to be hosting a dinner tonight, but it's a fantastic facility.
Thank you, Grant. It's a hell of an extravagance for a Zulu farmer. Let me just start that way. But we just feel that the game's been so good to us, and if we're going to leave any kind of a legacy at all, I think the school was the legacy that we should leave. I think most people in South Africa know the astonishing results that have come out of here, but just to exemplify it, the top student of every year here has a standing scholarship, and now we have 2 because of how well they've done over there, to the English National Stud. And we've only graduated 3 classes. Well, we've just graduated the 4th, but none of them has been tested abroad. So of the 3 classes we've graduated who've had students at the English National Stud, in 2 years of the 3, the top graduate from the school has become top graduate at the most revered management school in the world, the English National Stud. And they were young Zulus out of this district who had come from nowhere. So I think the fact that they're teaching, how they're teaching here and what they're teaching, and that so many professors and doctors and the top personalities in the game here give up so much time gratuitously for the school is what's made it. And I think, remember, it's the only school of its kind in the Southern Hemisphere. So I think racing needs this. We're seeing our first international students now. We had a couple of international students this year, and we've got 3 or 4 applications for next year. So the word is spreading, and I think it's the way forward.
Fantastic stuff. Now, we sat down here and you mentioned the chandelier that's sitting above us. It belongs to FIFA. It does. It was the official opening dinner, which was at Gallagher Estate in Johannesburg. It was made by a company called Mud in the Free State. And it was too big to put anywhere else afterwards. So we're just the custodians of it, and it's officially FIFA's property. What a masterpiece to walk into it, because it certainly is a major focal point in the room. Absolutely. It's an eye-catcher, isn't it? Mick, you must have been delighted with the attendance that you had here today. It was certainly beyond the realms that we possibly thought, and there's some really nice dignitaries as well. It was outstanding. I mean, to think that you guys have been so enterprising and so energetic about this thing. We've never seen a turnout like this. We've had the numbers before, but this was gravitas with a capital G. To have the biggest owners in Gauteng, in the Western Cape, and KZN attending the Gallops today, and a very broad sprinkling of people, because we know this sale is the people's sale as well. It is a horse for everyone at the Ready to Run, as you know. But we couldn't have been more delighted. Of course, we've battled a bit with the weather, as you know, but a day like this will go into the memory books. I don't think we could have been more honoured by a greater turnout in our lives at Summerhill.
Today has been a revelation, I must say. But just watching the horses today, these are 2-year-olds, you know, and to be doing what they're doing right now, yeah, pretty impressive. I thought the work riders were outstanding in windy conditions as well. Just a great day, and I think they're going to have a great sale.
But I think today wasn't about necessarily just the Gallops, you know. I think it was a landmark move by everybody who was involved in this day. And my advice to everybody, you know, about all the negativity that we've seen between the various parties is that, you know, racing is bigger than anybody, you know. And I want to say that this is not about the destination. Greatness doesn't lie in the destination. It lies in the journey. This is part of the journey for all of us to embrace, so that we can create an incredible industry which we all love so much. I hate to see that we go and break it up because of personalities. The industry must be much bigger than any personality. And I take my hat off to all of those who've reached out to make the game bigger and better. And one day, you know, who knows, when we start to export these horses, we'll be as big as any other country.
It's a place where I really love coming. Summerhill put on a great show. I love the way they do things. Mick can obviously teach us all a thing or two about speech making, but it's great to be here. It's part of racing, and it's a great day out.
Tom, obviously this year is a little bit different because of CTS's involvement. Have you picked up a difference?
Yes, listen, I think there's definitely a new air of change here, and that's inevitable in life and in business. And it seems to be a team effort that is really coming together, and it was a great day, obviously well attended by some big buyers and owners and breeders in the industry, and that is different from what I've experienced in the past. And you know, it's fantastic if things work out for them, and I wish them all the best.
Let me preface what I'm going to say. If I was a bookmaker pricing up on the outcome of the race next year, which is obviously what we're about here today, is to try and identify those horses we think could end up in the winners' enclosure. Now, if you look at the past winners, Colts and fillies, pretty well spread. I would be pricing up that the winner would, 5 to 10, the winner would be a filly, and 12 to 10, the winner to be a colt. I thought the fillies as a group were stronger than the colts. And much more competitive in trying to find the top 5. But my top 5 in order, I know it may be a bit obvious in terms of the pedigree, but she stood out head and shoulders, in my view, above the balance, and probably the best overall today. Certainly lot number 108, the Redout's Choice out of La Luna.
Before I commence, well done to Mick and his team and the sires. Every horse well turned out, very, very difficult. I'm sure all the panelists are going to agree. You looked at one, the next one came along, you say, well, this one's even better. But I went with lot number 2, Zonke, the Brave Tin Soldier, well related.
Yeah, I thought the fillies were much more forward than the colts. They looked very good. I like lot 65, the Bankable.
I love the Redout's Choice, Smashing, and lot 125. Went like, I thought the Express train it was named after. Very, very nice, the Silvano.
But not in particular order. I've gone for 69, the Cahal filly, 103, the Visionaire, 123 is a Cahal filly, 119 also Cahal, and lot 10, the Captainel. And you know, you can always bank on Captainel. He's produced the results. They come early, nice type. So those are the fillies that I've put in my top 5.
Not in order of preference, but in numerical order, I've got 5 fillies. Lot 10, Captainel. 25, the 7th Rock, 69, the Cahal, 103, Visionaire, and 133, another Visionaire.
Also in no particular order, got lot 13, a Cahal filly, lot 40, St. Petersburg, 46, Cahal, 80, JPEG, and 132, the High Chaparral. I think a few of these you'll get a bit of value.
In the colt section, no particular order, I went for lot 34, Bindaloo, the Visionaire out of the Street Crime Mare, Tornado Watch. And then I went for lot number 84, the Visionaire. I like that one in particular, and that's out of Footsteps.
I think the colts were quite evenly matched. Difficult to single out 5. Quite possibly my first choice won't get another mention, but I really did like, and I'm sticking my neck out here, the Full Brother to Distinguished, lot 72, Cahal out of Dignify, gets my vote as the top choice of the colts.
Right, Colts-wise, and Visionaire filled 2 of the 5 positions. I thought, much like Dean, to be honest, I thought that he was quite impressive today. The first choice for me was the Encosta Lager Colt. I thought he was pretty special as well, and he's the top of my boards.
Before it gets down to Felix, a man who absolutely loves everything and thinks everything is smashing, I just want to say that you should never display your crown jewels and secret wares in public, and I think Mick made a huge mistake today in showing us his just fantastic work riders. They were simply out of this world, and I really thought they were very, very special. And the rider of 111, the Brave Tin Soldier, had a very brave pair of underwear, because he was absolutely awesome. How he stayed on that, I'll never ever know. Well done to you, fella. Colts boring. I thought the Encosta de Lago was outstanding, 1-1-10. I thought lot 76, the VAR, I know you could say it's, you know, boring, variety club. But Alec Laird did manage to train a Guineas winner by Indigo Magic out of it, and he's a good trainer. And I thought that was a good family. Its little legs seemed to go a bit faster than itself, but a bit like Alec himself. But anyway. And then lots 46, I thought the Cahal out of Women's Rights. I know how much that means to Marcus. And lot 84, the Visionaire, like Dean, I thought the Visionaires were something outstanding.
Okay, once again, not in particular order. I think it was quite tricky choosing the top 5 colts. So there was, with the fillies, there were a lot more scope. But I'll give you lot 101, Brave Tin Soldier, moved very well. And lot 106, a Lion Tamer colt. I obviously haven't looked at them as individuals, but this horse used himself exceptionally well, 106.
Lot 57, Brave Tin Soldier. 61, Visionaire. He did impress overall, Visionaire. 68, Captainel. 72, I don't know, Graham said nobody else would mention him, but I am mentioning 72, Cahal. and 110 in Costa del Lago was impressive.
I think the colts, you'll find there's a lot more repetition in the selections than the fillies. In no particular order, I've gone 41 Cahal, 72 Cahal, 76 Var, 84 Visionaire, 110 Costa del Lago.
I just want to speak to Marcus Juster. Marcus, great to have you here. And I don't know if you've attended this function before, the actual gallops and that, but your impressions?
I was never invited before, Nico, so I must say it's a big privilege to be here. You know, Chris and I'm always available if selected. So we have found it a fantastic event. I think the way it's put up here is a great day out. And I mean, it's all about the horse, and that's why it's so wonderful. And I must say, well, Joey's comment I take offense to about women's rights, but I want to also say that the work riders I thought were absolutely fantastic. Well put together and great stuff.
Thanks very much, Marcus.
For me to be at such a gathering of people and horses is indeed a privilege and a pleasure. When I was offered this opportunity, I jumped at it, and I'm so glad that I did. You know, at the beginning of proceedings, when I was looking down the field at the horses, and they were all just standing very quietly there and placid and calm, and everything looked to be under control. And although one or two did eventually think about coming up here, you know, it was only natural, and I think it's testament to the wonderful training, riding and education that they're given on this farm. And Mick, to you and your team, big congratulations on that. There were 10 jockeys today, and guys, I must say to you that right at the outset, all of you had something special about you. And for me, the thing that shone through was your kind hands. And if I can leave you with something today, I'd just like to say that kind hands are critical to any jockey. I rated you in rounds, and in a few of the rounds there were ties, and coming into the last two rounds it was getting pretty close, and very, very interesting for me. But at the end of the day, there had to be a winner, and I'd like to extend my sincere congratulations to this year's winner, and his name is John.
How long you've been out here for?
13 years.
13 years. And the crop of horses that you rode today, what was your best feeling in terms of which horse gave you the best feeling?
Lot 72 is my best, and lot, I can't remember all of them.
I think you told Dr. McKees to keep it quiet.
No, I didn't.
I think you did.
No, I didn't say anything to him.
It is an experience. I think if anybody gets a chance to come out to one of these events, they should really do that. And you know, racehorse ownership, as I'm finding out, is a lot more than just being at the races on race day. You start to see this at the beginning, and everybody's hopes and dreams about these horses, and then there'll be the sale, and then there'll be the preparation at the training yards, and finally you get to a race course. So there's a lot involved in it, and for me it's just one massive, wonderful experience that people should try and enjoy.
Oh, fabulous. I mean, I thought everything was just 100%. Lovely facilities, lovely lunch, lovely company. It was just a joyous occasion, and I really enjoyed it. And the only question I have is why it took me so long to get here.
Well, the common denominator that most of the guys were chatting about during the very nice lunch, I always comment on the food because it's a very important part for me, but everyone seemed to be saying that this is possibly one of the strongest drafts they've seen here at Summerhill.
I think without any doubt. You know, you sort of know it when you get your foal crop. We saw some very nice horses go to the national sales earlier this year, but we always keep some real pearlers back, particularly the later foals. And to have the progeny of 3 of the last 4 champion Australian sires in any one draft, together with a daughter of the king in waiting, High Chaparral, in any one draft is historic in itself. But there's a great depth to this draft all the way through. I think there's some excellent value in the sale. But I think they're probably right. Our team's been saying this for a while, and I'm delighted to hear that the judges have endorsed it.
Well, this is the catalogue. I'm sure we've been giving a lot of them out, and it's the Johannesburg Ready to Run sale. The actual date is the 31st of October. We did the show previously at Inanda, and they've really come on board as well, and I think you're looking forward to going to that new venue as well.
It's absolutely stunning. I was just saying to one of the club committee members yesterday, it's surreal to be in that clubhouse. You're almost in a farm environment with these spectacular polo grounds in front of you, wonderful facilities, but it's a rural environment, and just over there to the north and the east are the headquarters of Liberty Life and Rand Merchant Bank and the Gautrain, etc., etc. It's the most valuable commercial property in the continent of Africa, just over the wall. And here we are about to sell our horses in the middle of Sandton. Unthinkable.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to that as well. But Mick, once again, thank you very much, firstly, for allowing us to do the show here, for your hospitality during the course of Sunday as well. It really was first class.
Well, to have you guys here, let me just say, it was just one of those great privileges. We'll never forget it, and I hope that the sale is something to remember as well.
So number 14, All Is Secret, is victorious. Well Witcher.
And for the lads won it.
Shay takes the lead. Shay wins the Elgos.
In the Lanzarote Ready to Run Stakes presented by CTS, Redway gets given his head and he comes forward and takes up the running. Captain America's on the chase. Back along the inside, Accelero. The riders towards the inside. Redway's got a race on his hands. As Captain America falls alongside of him. Captain America, Redway. Captain America, Redway. It's Captain America climbing up. Captain America beats Redway on the line.
The log is intended as a guide only and is purely based on performances thus far. Now, fillies will receive a 2.5 kilogram allowance, and this has been added to all raced fillies for log purposes.
Gavel House is the leading website for trading horses online. Selling your racehorse, mare or even a share in a yearling is so easy on Gavel House. You can browse our sires directory to match the best mating for your mare, with text description, videos and up-to-date sires reports. Gavelhouse.com is the best way to sell your horse. We reach places others can't, where buyers and sellers deal direct and pay no commission. Go to gavelhouse.com.
Right, Gavel House, as per usual, we've got 2 slides that they've provided. We'll start off with syndications and shares, and they're looking at the horse Jamaican Minnaloos, obviously by Black Minnaloos out of the Flaming Sunset, well, the mare called Flaming Sunset. This is a 2009 gelding, and what they're looking for here is 15,000 Rand per 10% share. He's well bred, he's lightly raced, and if you want to get involved, you need to contact Ruan Naidu, and he's based in Gauteng. Jamaican Minnaloos is in full training with Terry Lowe. He has been placed once from only 4 starts. His dam, Flaming Sunset, is the dam of 6 foals to race, 4 winners, including Turbo Friday. There are only 5 shares remaining. Join the partnership with this athletic son of Black Minnaloos. The second slide, well, this is an unraced horse. He's Jet Air, he's by Visionaire, and he's out of Jet Park. He's a 2012 colt. Here the price is 440,000 Rand. There are shares available in the ready-to-run colt. If you want to get involved here, you need to contact Mark Bass. He's based in the Western Cape, and Mike Bass purchased the smart colt at the CTS ready-to-run sale. Jet Air is by the King George winning US-bred sire Visionaire. He's out of the 3-time winning Jetmaster mare Jet Park from the family of Agra, School Assembly and Her Way. Shares are available in thirds, quarters or halves. Thanks very much to Gavel House once again for their continued support, and those look to be 2 very useful purchases if you wanted to get involved in syndicates or shares or partnerships. Thanks very much for joining us on tonight's edition of Breeding to Win from the Moy River region here at Summerhill Stud. Next week, though, the show will comprise the Balmoral Gallops and what happened out at Yellow Star Stud, and obviously that draft will be on sale at the TBA ready-to-run sale the Sunday after the Summerhill sale. So we look forward to seeing you all up in Joburg around that time. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to being with you next week.